Hello, Flosstube, and welcome to Fairy Tales and French Knots. This is a channel about cross stitching, and I'm Erin, your host. If you've been here before, thanks for coming back, and I hope you'll find something interesting tonight. If this is your first time visiting, welcome, and I hope you'll find something you like too. So, I was going to start out like 2 weeks ago with a recap of my 2021 and an introduction to my 2022 stitching, and then stuff happened. My daughter was home from school. My husband fell down the front stairs. Stuff, life. So I haven't been quite as stitchy as I would have liked to have been. But I did end the year, 2021, with a finish. So I'm going to start by showing that off and trying to get this off on the right foot. Even if it is the 13th of January, it's still my first episode of 2022. So, yay, finishes. So, here it is. This is A Winter's Night by Bright Needle. It was released as part of the Kreinik Remember the Ladies series. And it's also stitched in Silk Mori flosses. And the fabric I used is not the called for fabric. The fabric in the kit looks very brown. And actually, I don't think the fabric is in the kit. The kit is the floss only. So I used, and let me check my book here. I used 40 count fossil linen from, I can't remember the name of the dyer. I want to say Fox and Rabbit or Fox and Squirrel, one of those. But anyway, the color is fossil and it's very dark. And I picked it because it says A Winter's Night, air crisp as apples, snowflakes for stars. And stitching that on a red brown color fabric just felt wrong. So I stitched it on this kind of blue gray with streaks of green and brown. And I just think it's adorable. I want to get it framed, I think. And there is one error in it, but I'm not going to tell. I miscounted the border, of course, because that's where you always miscount, right? So, no, I'm not going to tell you. You can't find it, it doesn't matter. And yeah, so that was my finish. The other thing I did for January is, I was watching everyone talk about stitch alongs and whip go and various, challenges and all of that. And I really seriously thought about it. I thought, I really ought to do whip go because I have a crap ton of starts and I never finish them. They're still in this box, and that's part of what I might do, kind of a mini whip parade today, because I do want to keep myself accountable. But I live my life by schedules. I'm a working mom. I'm also a type 1 diabetic. So everything is, check blood sugar, take insulin, eat food, get kid to school, go to work, get work projects done, get home from work, take kid to swim practice, do the laundry, what's for dinner, check my blood sugar. I don't need another schedule, people. And I love all y'all who can. I mean, more power to ya. God, I sound like I'm Southern. I'm not from the South. I live in upstate New York. But anyway, I can't do the scheduling stuff. But what I did do was I got this little itty bitty journal. See, very tiny, no size of hand here. And I'm keeping track of what I start and what I have going. So at the very least, I can tell you what whips I had as of the end of December of last year. I've put in a few finishes. See, there's my finished Winter's Night over here with a sticker, because I'm not a sticker person, but I used to be a scrapbooker. And I went through my bucket of scrapbook supplies and found these abandoned stickers and thought, what the heck, stick them in there. So that was my one concession to the scheduling people. And I know everybody stitches what they want to stitch when they want to stitch it. So, do your thing, people. And if whip go and calendars and scheduling and counting how many minutes you stitch on things works for you, awesome. I love that. I want to see what you did. And if you start everything and don't care if it ever gets finished, awesome. I want to see that too. So There you go. My January 1st start, speaking of starts, was an oldie but a goodie from this book, which is Gnomes, Designs in Counted Cross Stitch, from Designs by Gloria and Pat. And I'm sure most of the stitching world knows now that Pat Carson recently passed away. So this is a bit of an homage to the roots of stitching, or the roots of stitching that started in the 80s. And this over here is the design that I decided to start because these are all based on the pictures from the classic book by, and I know I'm going to butcher his name, but the illustrations are from a Norwegian illustrator named Rian Portvliet, Poortvliet. So anyway, I've always loved the gnome book. And here's my start. Ta-da! And the fabric, also a classic. Anyone who watched the Tuesday night stitch along with Abby Bella Stitch saw it too. This is sugar maple fabric golden turret. So yeah, I pulled something out of the stash bin for this. I've had that piece of golden turret probably since I first discovered hand-dyed fabrics, because I had, as you might have guessed from the title of my channel, an obsession with fairy tales and princesses and, you know, castles and dragons, and fabric called golden turret seemed like it would be perfect for some sort of design that I'd end up stitching. So I bought that and promptly put it into my stash bucket, and now it's 20 years later and I finally got it out. So there's that. The other thing I learned this year, and part of my one resolution that I made, was that I would not start a project if I didn't have a project bag for it. And I had, at that time, 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5 or 6 project bags, some of which were purchased from Etsy or eBay sellers, and some were the these kind that you get at Staples. So, but I had, you know, an assortment of project bags. So I thought, that's enough, and I'm good. Well, I've also dabbled in quilting in the past. And I was looking at my stash of fabrics and I thought, I can make a project bag. And so I did. And I started with this one right here. This was my first ever attempt at a project bag. And first off, the vinyl that I used was too lightweight, and you can hear it crinkles. It's kind of like a crappy shower curtain. It's not quite the weight that I would have liked. And my zipper is completely wompy. Total mess. And the other thing I didn't have was the self-adhesive fleece or batting. So I just used a piece of Warm and Natural. I mean, seriously, what was I thinking? I used my good batting for this, and I quilted it as best I could, just straight line quilted, because the fabric is some stuff my mother gave me that has little, I don't know if you can see it or not, little canoes and paddles and things on it. I have no clue where my mother found this fabric or why she sent it to me. So I thought, it's good practice. That was my first attempt. And yes, there is a project in there. Yeah. So in there is, I'm really going with the gnome theme this year, people. This is Forest Gnome Magic by the Laurel Witch. You may have seen, she did a free series, the Witchmas for the Days of Advent, the Witch's Advent calendar. It was super cute, for free on Instagram, and she's since taken that all down, and she's going to sell it as a full set of patterns later this year. But here's my very small start on that. Oh, it doesn't show up at all. It's on a brown fabric, and just trying to catch my light here, not working. But all I've really got done is the bodice and neckline of the little gnome's dress. So I just had to start it because it had a bag. So there's that. But then I kept sewing. So this is project bag number 2. And this time, no crinkles. This is either 12 or 16. I think this is 12 gauge vinyl. So it's much more substantial. And the lining is classic tattoo fabric. My husband and I have been watching Ink Master on Netflix and Paramount Plus. So it just seemed right to put stitching in a bag covered with tattoos. And the backing is, or the blue is the back of a quilt that I made for one of my nephews. So that was, repurposing lots of materials. And the zipper came out better. Still not perfect, but I'm getting there. And then I made another one. I made a little one. And this one is a little purple one that has inside, hang on, let me take out what's in it. Put stuff in it. It has New York City fabric on it. And I posted this on Facebook, and one of my friends saw it and wanted to buy one from me. And I said, my binding is still a little wompy in spots, and my zippers aren't perfect, and I don't know what to do about that. And I also, at the time, I didn't think I had more of this fabric, because this was from a quilt that I made about 20 plus years ago, maybe, give or take, for my sister when she lived in the New York City area and had a dog. And maybe you can see in the New York fabric, there's like ladies walking dogs and things like little puppies around it. So this was my sister's quilt fabric, and I still had fabric from 20 years ago in a box. So I really didn't know if I had more. But I did find enough to piece together another bag, and I mailed it off to Natasha. So I hope you liked it. I don't consider myself a bag maker, though. I'm certainly not going to be opening an Etsy shop or anything. And in this one right now is Heart and Hands Pocket Round Flower, which was some stash I acquired from one of the Facebook groups. And I'm hoping to fit that into a jewelry box that I've got in my stash. So that's that. The other projects that I have lined up to start this year, let's see. I've got in a bag one of the Santas from the Prairie Schooler St. Nicholas 2. I have this guy, the one with the arc, ready to go. I thought I have some blue fabric with moon and stars on it, and I was going to stitch him on a light blue fabric and then make him into one of my jar wraps. And if I like him, I'll keep him. If I love him, I'll keep him. If I like him, he'll go to possibly another craft show in the fall. Maybe someone else will like him. So that's in the stash pile. That's what's in progress. Oh, I found this. This is embarrassing. So, gosh, it's got to be like 12, 13, 14 years ago, possibly longer. There were a lot of neighborhood round robins going around where we'd all pick a theme for a neighborhood, stitch a house or, whatever you wanted in your neighborhood, and then send it on to other stitchers. And I did one that was a woodland neighborhood. It's actually hanging just over this shoulder. Wait, there it is, back there. Came out super cute. I love the work that everyone did on it. We ended up having at least one person bail on the group, so I had to stitch 2 squares in it. And, you know, after lots of people tried these neighborhood groups and different kinds of things like that, that failed, somebody said, let's do a me, myself, and I round robin, where you lay out the neighborhood and then you stitch the whole thing. And at the time, obviously, I was insane. This sounded like a great idea. So I did that, and I found it in a cupboard. And it's really somewhat embarrassing because I think this has got to be one of my oldest whips. It's got 2 squares finished. All the grid is laid out on this blue 32 count fabric. There's a castle down at the bottom and a little cottage above it. And I'm pretty sure in the bottom, probably the bottom right corner, which would be over here, I had planned to have a knight on horseback. So he'd be, you know, looking like he was looking at the castle road. And then there's a bunch of other little cottages that patterns I'd found in various places. So maybe I'll get back to this. I found the folder full of house patterns and all the flosses in a little bag, although I'm not sure if they're current, if they're all the flosses. They were the flosses for the 2 squares I had done so far. And here, this was my layout that I did all by myself on grid paper. I just have to show this off because this just cracked me up. Oh my god, I can't even unfold it anymore. It's been folded for so long. And taped together. Oh, it's stuck in the wrong places. Yeah, you can kind of see how it's laid out. There's all the houses. There's the knight. There he is, right in front of my face. And more houses. And then this was the center square. There it is, all laid out. That's finished, so I guess I could throw that away. And yeah, so there it is. There's what it is going to look like someday. Maybe. Hopefully. We'll see. So yeah, found that. I also just noticed that my LED light is dying. So that's something to work on. And then the other thing that I did kit and I'm ready to start in a new project bag that I purchased is Primitive Hair's Fracture Family. Family where life begins and love never ends. I've been meaning ever since we moved to put together a wall with family photos because I have an only child and my husband has siblings. I have one sister who has 4 kids. My husband's siblings have children and we've got grandparents and everything. And we really need kind of a photo wall. I know that's something that everybody had in the 80s and 90s, but I think it's worth putting one together. And I thought something like this would look really nice in the center of that. So I do have the I think it's printed and hand-dyed fabric with the handwriting on it. And I've got it all cut and ready to go. And I did sub in some hand dyes for some of those colors because it's all done in DMC. And I thought it was just really dark. And like some of the blues and grays looked odd to me. So I figured, it's mine. I can do what I want with it. So those are my projects right now. My focus has really been the gnomes because they're just so cute and I'm having fun with them. I got quite a lot done on Tuesday night with the girls online. So thank you all for that if you see me or if you watch this. I did get a little bit of stash. Naughty, naughty. But I have, I did order the Park Hopper Bart Winter Welcome design from Black Needle Society after I saw Meezy's over on Geeky Witch. He's just cute and I wanted him. And he looks like he'd be a pretty cute little, or quick little stitch. So, got that. And since I was on Black Needle Society placing an order, I mean, why pay shipping for one thing, right? I ordered the Tiny Modernist Up All Night. And this is so me right now because I don't stay up all night and stitch, but my husband and I both are suffering from that like pandemic. I don't have to go to sleep now. Something else is in control of all my life. So I'm going to stay up until God knows what hour and not sleep when I ought to. And I'll tell you, like 3 nights out of 5 during the work week, I end up passed out in my recliner with fuzzy blankets piled all over me. So, yeah, up all night, definitely me right now. And the last thing that I got is Cross Stitch Christmas, the Joyful Tidings, the Craftways publication. This one is from, because I know they do these annually. This one is from 2017. And I saw it in the eBay search I did for something else. And then I realized that it had this, the deer pattern from Emma Congdon, which I just think is adorable. And it also had, it has quite a few really cute patterns in it. But the one that really sucked me in, as they do, is this. The wreath. It's from Cottage Garden Samplings. And I really like her stuff. I haven't stitched any of it, but that one is enough to suck me in and possibly get me to do a new start. So that's where I've gotten to so far this year. I've also cleaned out a bunch of stash. I keep saying I'm going to list it in the Facebook groups, and then I don't. But the box, it's almost too heavy to carry around. So if I went to a stitching retreat or to celebrations in New Hampshire, fingers crossed, I actually looked into StitchCon, but they're closed. I missed the like 5 minutes when you could actually sign up, and the wait list is closed. So that isn't going to happen this year. Maybe next year, we'll see. But I don't know. I just don't know. The whole COVID is crazy. I work at a college. I've been vaccinated and boosted. My husband is vaccinated and boosted. My daughter, who's 11, is vaccinated as as she can be. She also had COVID at the end of September. It didn't seem to do any permanent damage, although it took her months to get her sense of smell back. So at this point, of course, I don't want to get sick. I don't want to get anyone else sick. And I miss people. So I really don't know, if or when or how, but I really have to get back out and stitch with other people. I know last summer my local friends and I got together. We we got some hotel rooms and brought our crock pots and had a lovely, lovely time. Maybe we'll do that again. Bev, Sylvia, if you're out there, you game? Anybody else? Whatever. We'll see. But I hope you all are enduring the long winter, the second long winter. This coming weekend is supposed to be absolutely frigid up here where I am. So stay warm, keep stitching, and leave me a comment if you saw anything interesting. Take care. Bye.